Hello, I'm Benjamin, the UK's most hated sales trainer. Now, you may remember me from such public service announcements as 2 minus 3 equals negative fun and fireworks, deadly but silent. But I'm not here today to give you a public service announcement. Well, maybe I am. But this message is aimed at sales folk. You know, the guys and gals that troop into the office or with COVID, crawl out of their bed to their desk, and they have to pick up the phone and prospect. And they've not bought in to the social selling lie, you know, create it and they will come. They realize that they're going to have to talk to a human being, because even if you develop a great social selling whatever, you're still going to have to talk to a human being. And if you spend your life behind a keyboard, writing fancy emails or producing videos like this where there's no real human interaction, you're not going to be very good despite all that social selling working, because you're going to have to talk to people. So the only way to get good at talking to people is to pick up the phone. Now, the reason you're watching this video is you have probably Googled or YouTubed top 10 cold calling openers or best cold call openings or telephone prospecting scripts. That's why you're here. And I'm probably one of 100 videos on YouTube where there's all these people pontificating and giving you their advice on what you should say and what you shouldn't do. So I'm going to get in on this little game and I'm going to give you some top tips. So where to start? Well, this is the most important thing. Most salespeople, and they don't admit it until you get them sitting down alone on a one-to-one basis. But most salespeople deep down, when the phone is ringing, are thinking, please don't answer. Please don't answer. Yeah, they want to look as if they're doing something, but deep down, they're scared of what to do or say if someone answers. And it always surprises me that salespeople sound startled or shocked that somebody answers the phone. Why? You're expecting someone to answer, but that's it. And this is the thing you got to get. Your mindset will determine your success when it comes to prospecting. If you are in any way hoping that the other person will not answer, you've already set yourself up to fail. You will never sound like you belong. So that's the first thing I want you to do. So it doesn't matter how brilliant the line is. It doesn't matter how awesome the opener is. If you're unable to deliver it as a person that belongs and believes in what they're saying, the line will never work. Secondly, there is no magic bullet line. There is no one line that if you use, it will work 100% of the time, because nothing is 100%. The only thing that's 100%, we all know it, it's an old adage, isn't it? Death and tax. Those are the two things in life that are guaranteed. Everything else, it's a statistic. So the lines I'm going to give you today won't work all the time. Of course not. And in fact, they're designed not to work all of the time in some respects, because one of them allows the person to hang up. But statistically, they do work. And unlike a lot of videos, I'm going to explain why they will work. It's not enough to say, I feel they work. I practice them. I watched one video where a particular individual said that I'm going to introduce you to some lines. And he said he'd literally done a million cold calls. Now, call me skeptical, but I did the math and I worked out that that would be 273 conversations every day, 365 days of a year for 10 years. Now, maybe he has that work ethic, but I don't think it's possible to have 273 conversations, let alone dials. But conversations, there's just not enough time. There is no way. And the guy delivering this talk, he must have been 30 to 35. So there's no way. So take with a grain of salt a lot of stuff that you see online. Take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Yeah? Don't just believe it because I've said it. Try it. But this is it. Whenever you try an opening line, if you do not deliver it, what's the difference between a good actor and a great actor? Delivery. Two actors, same script. One makes an absolutely awful job of it because you can tell he doesn't believe in the character. He doesn't believe in the situation that he finds himself in, and he delivers it in a way that, oh God, this is terrible. Then you get someone that draws you in. You get an actor, and you can't distinguish between the character and the person. And we know many actors like that. People that you don't realize are actors. It's just, it seems who they are. Right. So First thing I want to teach you is don't, for the love of God, please stop phoning up people and introducing yourselves. Everybody does it. It's a programmed behavior. When you were first taught to use the phone, you were taught as a child. Then as a child, you were taught that you should introduce yourself. Great for a kid. Stupid idea for a grown-up, particularly one in sales. You don't have to introduce yourself. You do not have to say, hi, it's Benjamin from ABC Company. Just drop that completely. It doesn't add anything to the conversation. The second thing I'd suggest is, and we all know this, there are so many videos saying this, so I'm going to restate it because there are some things I do agree with. Please, for all that is good, don't phone somebody up and say, hi, my name's Benjamin from ABC Company. How are you today? Just don't do it. It is insincere. Now, I get the odd jerk off that says to me, when I ask somebody how they're doing, I genuinely mean it because I'm just that kind of person. Well, Lardy, effing da. The problem you have is prospects don't know that. How many times have they had that cheesy, how are you today, sir, thrown at them in the last 2 weeks? It doesn't matter if you're a wonderful human being. You could be Gandhi himself making prospecting calls. But I guarantee, hi, my name's Gandhi from India. How are you today? You're probably going to elicit a similar response. Fine, thanks. We don't ask it because it's insincere. You don't care about the answer. And I know you don't care about the answer. And I know this because whenever I get asked that question by a salesman, just for shits and giggles, I always respond, well, you know, I'm doing all right considering my mum died last night. And it's hilarious because you get this awkward silence followed by, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Look, anyway, the reason why I'm calling, and then they carry on like nothing happened. So please, if there's nothing you take from this video, take that one thing. Stop introducing it. It's not important. You don't have to do it. If you're doing it, you're listening to childhood scripting and you're following behaviors that were given to you as a child. You are no longer a child. So stop it. So what are some good opening lines? Well, if you've seen my stuff, you know there's one I'm particularly fond of. And that is, and it's so simple, and I'm going to explain why it works. But the line is simply this. I only phone at C-suite level. So this is also something you need to take away. Most salespeople call too low, right? Most people phone people that probably can't buy their stuff. So I'm going to focus on B2B, but B2C is the same. But let's focus on B2B for the minute. If you are phoning B2B, the person you should always be trying to get a hold of, usually, and most of the time, is the person right at the top. Now, it's slightly different if you're chasing Fortune 500 or FTSE companies. The odds of you getting through to the CEO of BP or Shell or something like that is pretty slim, right? So, but they're the exception. Most companies are not operating at the level. Most businesses you can sell to, you should be able to get through to the person at the top. I didn't say it's easy. I said it should be possible. So that's the first thing, go high. And if you can't get to the top dog, you at least get to someone with director in their title. The reason someone is called a manager is because they manage. Yes, sometimes they have unilateral authority to spend some money, but you don't know that. But I do know for a fact that if I go at director level, the odds of them having the ability to make a decision is far, far greater and greater. So first thing you need to do is stop phoning low. Most people phone at a level that they're comfortable with. It's their self-concept. You know, you're picking up the phone and you've got a list of names and it says CEO, president. And you look at this and you hear this little voice in the back of your head. It's probably your mum or your dad, or maybe your nanny if you were rich. And they're just whispering you, what are you going to say to him when you get through? You're just an account executive. This guy's successful. He runs a company. He's probably got 2 houses and a boat. What are you possibly going to say to this guy? So you say, right, you know what, sod it. I'm going to phone the manager first. And that's what we do. And I used to be guilty of it. I used to be terrified to phone people with MD or CEO or president in their title. Because I used to think, what on earth is a guy like me going to say to a guy like him? So I wouldn't. But it's a fool's errand. Prospecting, and let's be blunt, sucks. Anyone that says they love it is a liar or a, what is it? Is it a masochist? That's a masochist, not a sadist. A sadist inflicts pain. Right. So they're masochists. I don't like prospecting. I'm not going to lie to you, but I'm good at it. And because I'm good at it, I do it. But I don't do it for 8 hours a day. I only have to do it for a short window of time because I know exactly what I want to do and what I want to achieve. So if you're going to do it, don't phone people that can't make decisions. You're just compounding misery on misery. At least try and get a hold of people that if you get through to them and have a good conversation, they could actually say yes. So that's something you need to take away from it. So opening line. So here's one. This is the one I use most of the time. And it works, in my experience, 95% of the time, and I'll explain why. But this is simply it. The phone rings, I get through to the CEO or the MD, and they answer, they go, hello, Barry speaking. They normally sound a bit rough, but frustrated and annoyed. I know that that's the sort of person they are. And how you deliver this is important. And as soon as they answer, they go, hello, Barry speaking. Oh, is that Barry? I start with a question. Always start, is that Barry? Even though we said this is Barry, I say, is that Barry? I'm taking control. He who asks questions is dictating the direction of the conversation. So it's always important to be asking questions. So is that Barry? And he'll go, yes, speaking. I go, look, Barry, you are going to hate me. This is actually a cold call. So do you want to hang up now or let me have 30 seconds and then decide? Simple, easy. Takes a bit of guts to do, and delivery is important. If you deliver it weak, oh, hi, is that Barry? Yeah. Oh, hi, Barry. This is a cold call. Do you want to hang up or can I have 30 seconds? You'll hang up, right? Why does it work? You see, so many people post tips on YouTube about lines to use, but very rarely do they explain why it works. So why does this work? Well, there's a simple psychology going on here. You know it and I know. We are rebellious creatures. Human beings do not like to be told what to do. If you know your religion, the entire Christian story is about rebellion, isn't it? The devil rebelled against God's authority. Man rebelled against God. Rebellion is ingrained in our DNA. So we hate to be told what to do. You go to the museum and there's a sign that says, do not touch. What does everybody do? They just give a little tap, don't they? Or there's that sign that says, don't step on the grass. So they dip their toe into it. We can't help ourselves. So when you get through to a senior decision maker at the C-suite and you say to them, do you want to hang up? The guttural reaction instinctively is no. So that's why I do it, because I'm deliberately what psychiatrists, and if you understand certain theories of human communication, such as transactional analysis, what that tells me is I'm deliberately going after their rebellious child. It's this little kid inside of us called the rebellious child. We all have a rebellious child. And I deliberately get that little guy to come out. So I go straight in with, do you want to hang up? In a split second, the rebellious kid goes, no, don't tell me what to do. I run a company, I'm successful. Nobody can phone me up and tell me what to do. So that's why I do it. So that you instinctively get no. And then I go, okay, well, look, you can either hang up or let me have 30 seconds. Now, this is the important thing. It's a command. Let me have. It's not may I have, can I please have. Language is important. It's let me have 30 seconds. Why am I doing this? If I'm phoning a senior decision maker, I need to act and sound like a senior decision maker. I need to use language that they use. I need to speak and sound like them. I need to create parity and equality immediately. Because if I sound like a wimp, if I sound like I don't belong, if I sound like I'm a deer caught in headlights, they will come down on me. Now, the better you deliver this, the higher the success rate. 95% of the time when I deliver this line at CEO or MD level or president level, I normally get a chuckle. Yeah, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get deadpan silence. Sometimes I get people say, no, I think I'll hang up. Now, this is also the interesting thing, and I'll give you this. Sometimes when they say, no, I think I'll hang up, there's a silence because they don't hang up. So what do you think I do or say at this moment? So this is what I do. There's a silence. And I hear it and I go, well, you got to go first. You'd be amazed. About half of them, when you say that, well, what's it about? Hang on, I thought you wanted to hang up. So that's a good line. Now, here's another one for you. So that's why it works, because you're deliberately appealing to the rebellious nature. And when you tell a senior decision maker, someone that's used to telling people what to do and getting their own way, when you tell them to hang up, the reaction is no. Like I say, nothing's foolproof. Nothing's foolproof. You will get people that will hang up, but you can't get upset. That's the beauty of it. I can't get upset on another human being if they hang up on me, if I've said, do you want to hang up? And that's also an important thing I need to take you away. Not only just the mindset, But this is about you being in control and about you preventing your feelings interfering with you doing your job. A good salesman is like a top barrister or a top solicitor or an attorney for our American colleagues. They are professional. They are emotionally detached. They don't have a fight in the dog. They just come and do their bit as well as they can, with no emotional connection to the outcome. If you could get convicted and go to jail, well, that's your problem, not mine. I'm going to do my best to represent you and defend you. But if it doesn't go our way, and I've done my job as competently and as brilliantly as I can, and I can't be faulted, tough. We need to be like that as salespeople. So you need, when you pick up that phone and you say to them, do you want to hang up or let me have 30 seconds? And they hang up, you can hang that phone up and not feel bad. You don't feel, oh, that went bad or that was awful. So hang on. I told the fella to hang up and he did. He listened to me. Keeps you in control. So, couple more and I'll let you go. So here's another good one. There are certain sales sectors, we could say, that don't have the best of reputations because they're ubiquitous on the telephone. Let's take recruitment, for instance. You know, how many recruiters right now are on the phones, canvassing, as they used to call it when I did recruitment, looking for jobs or trying to sell in candidates, yeah? And most people in HR or higher up the chain just don't like receiving calls from recruiters because they get so many of them. So I used to work with recruiters, and what I would do is something simply like this. Because I know my prospect, because I know most people I'm phoning in the world of recruitment don't want to talk to a recruiter, I'm going to utilize that to my benefit. So I know that's the profile of my prospect. So what I would do is I would phone up and they'd answer and I go, is that Barry? You go, yeah, Barry speaking. I go, look, Barry, if I told you that this call was about recruitment, would a little piece of you die? You know how many people go, oh, yes. Now that's good, because when I hear that, I've got a human being about to do a bit of a vent. Now, venting, you know what I mean by venting. Venting is when you get to let rip on something that annoys you or pisses you off. And a good vent is like a really good vomit. You remember when you were younger and you go out and you drink too much, and then the next morning you do that superpower chunder into the toilet, and then you curl up into a ball next to the toilet, slightly shivering, but you felt good. Yeah, that's what a good vent's like. So when you phone someone up and say, look, if I told you this was about recruitment, would a little piece of you die? They go, oh, yes. Now, rather than try and jump in and defend recruiters, I follow up with another question. I go, well, look, before you hang up, can I ask a question? Why does everybody say that? And then they vent. Oh, do you know how many calls I get from recruiters? I must get 6 of these calls every week or every day, and they all say the same things. And no matter how many times I tell them not to call, but they're venting in the vent. All I'm doing is listening. I go, well, that must be very frustrating for you. Yeah. So look, last thing then, and I'll let you go. Notice I always keep saying one last thing or one last question, or before I let you go, I'm constantly giving them an exit, but it never quite arrives. And when you do that, it's easier for someone to keep talking to you. So I said, look, okay, well, look, before you go, one last thing then. If I was to guarantee that the next 30 seconds would be completely different from every other call you got, would you hear me out? Now, you get 2 answers. I know what the 2 answers are, yes or no. If they say yes, I'll take it. If they say no, I go, fair enough. Last question then. Is there any particular reason why? And then they may give me, this is where I'm always going in with a question, because you just don't know which question is going to spark them to speak. So I think that's all I'm going to give you today. Yes, I think that is. So if you're watching this and you think to yourself, I want to get good at telephone prospecting. Yes, social selling's awesome and it means I don't have to talk to people. But in reality, if I want to have a good career in sales, I'm going to have to talk to people. Where's the best, freest place to learn to talk to people? Prospecting. You have an unlimited access to human beings that you get to talk to in real time, which forces you to think and act differently. So if you want to do that, I'm always running telephone prospecting boot camps. So not only opening is important, but the structure of the rest of the call is fundamental, because there's no point getting someone to let you to speak to them and then ruining it after that, because these are precious moments. These are precious moments when someone says, okay, I'm willing to listen more. So we don't want to ruin it. So if you're watching this video go to my website, www.uksmosthatedSalesTrainer.com. And if there is a bootcamp currently available, if you purchase a spot on it, and if you type YouTube into the apply a coupon or apply a discount, whatever it is at the checkout, it'll give you, I don't know, let's say 150 quid off whatever the asking price is. So that's if you've watched this video. Otherwise, please share it and like it. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I am Benjamin, the UK's most hated sales trainer, and that was a public service announcement. Goodbye, happy hunting, and good luck.